It's not my usual ride. This is a race car simulator, and today, something special in mind. We're going to take this up to 150 miles per hour, and then I'm going to get hacked.
This simulator lets us go no holds barred. Automotive hacks that would kill a driver on the highway.
That was me. I actually did go remotely and I hacked you. I actually threw your car in reverse.
And while it's just a simulation in the office of Israeli cybersecurity firm Gardnox, the issue is as serious as it gets.
Someone appears to have disabled my engine. Because I am definitely pressing that gas and just constantly decelerating.
So I cut your engine this time. So these are all examples of hacks that we've actually done in the field.
In the 21st century, the car and the automotive industry as a whole is under a huge paradigm shift, which changes the car from only metal and moving parts to computer and to software-driven vehicle.
And every computer in a vehicle is an attack surface. If it can connect to the internet, a hacker can access it. And that means there's a market demand for a defense.
You have your entire simulator running through one of our development boards over here, which I've connected to. It's actually through a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connection. That's how most hacks actually are initiated. So I actually went ahead and turned the Gardnox solution on, which you see here, and I really tried hard to hack you. I really wanted to. But they were all blocked, as you can see here. All those hacks I initiated were blocked. Once I turned our solution off, we then could have some fun again, and I could hack you again.
The automotive cybersecurity market is expected to be worth $32 billion by 2030, and that's just in software. Add in the full supply chain and rapid modernization of the industry, the numbers are staggering.
Now, we're talking about more than $200 billion market a year. The paradigm shift hits everyone. It hits the manufacturers, it hits the tier one suppliers, the major system suppliers.
And that means cyber firms are thriving, especially for Israel, which captures more than 8% of the global cybersecurity market. As that market grows, so will the Israeli firms that manage it.
And the power steering, and the reverse.
I'm no mechanic, but I know one thing most people haven't figured out about their cars.
They don't just guzzle gas, they guzzle data.
You see, as of 2020, almost all new cars sold in America will come with an internet connection that's always on, constantly sending your information to Lord only knows. Older cars collect data too. Every time you plug in your phone, there's a chance it's copying over your personal information. What's it sharing? And with whom? The dashboard doesn't say. It isn't in the owner's manual. You won't find it in an app either.
It's enough to make a guy want a car-sized tinfoil hat.
Okay, covering your car in foil is a little extreme. But the reality is, there are no federal laws restricting how cars collect and use your data. That means you are not really in the driver's seat. So what do you know about me, 2017 Chevrolet? And who are you sharing it with? I asked the car maker directly, and they wouldn't tell me. Trying to uncover my data's secret life is quite a trip. Like 14 million other Chevys, this car has OnStar, the General Motors connected car service.
It's like a smartphone on wheels, connected to over 200 different sensors. Actually, that's more than my smartphone.
Chevy's long privacy policies say GM could pretty much take whatever data it wants.
Inside the car, I couldn't find any ways to see my data, delete my data, or just cut off the internet connection entirely.
To follow the data trail, we're gonna have to hack our way in. Meet Jim Mason. He's got a PhD in engineering and hacks into cars professionally to investigate accidents. Yep, we're gonna borrow some CSI techniques. Call it a privacy autopsy.
I gotta remove this now, and there's a screw right here, there's a couple of them.
Now this kind of hacking isn't a security risk. It requires hours of physical access to get to the computer under the dashboard. There's one important bit of car anatomy to know about. Cars have several computers, potentially recording data. The one Jim is tapping into runs the infotainment touchscreen, which connects everything from your navigation to your smartphone. After Jim carefully removes the computer, he uses special software to download its contents. Don't try this at home. Later, I met with Jim at his office to sort through what he found.
All right, Jim, so what does the car know about me?
Well, let's find out.
There on a map was the precise location of the warehouse where we took apart the Chevy, as well as other destinations, like a hardware store I'd stopped at. There were unique identifiers for my phone, and a detailed log of calls from the previous week. There was a long list of contacts, right down to people's addresses, emails, and photos. Infotainment systems can collect even more. Jim has hacked Fords that record location once every few minutes. He's seen German cars with 300 gigabyte hard drives. Others store audio recordings from voice commands.
And this is a 2-year-old car. Newer models have even more data points. Road conditions, whether you look sleepy while you're driving, also how you interact with all those apps.
To be clear, this is just what we were able to pull off the infotainment computer. It doesn't tell us what this Chevy shared with GM through that cellular OnStar connection. We know they're collecting enough to locate the car anytime through the Chevy app, and even deliver a driving score based on how I accelerate, brake, and turn. A GM spokesman told me much of this data is highly technical, not linkable to individuals, and doesn't leave the vehicle itself. But GM acknowledges it collects driving data in real time. And in its view, drivers gave them permission when they bought the car with standard OnStar service. Automakers are looking for ways to make money off of all our data. GM recently captured what 90,000 people were listening to on the radio, and then tried to look for links to what sorts of shops they visited. We've been down this fraught connected road before, from phone apps and smart speakers to smart TVs. Automakers haven't had a data reckoning yet, but they're due for one. In 2014, 20 car makers, including GM, promised to protect our privacy by following principles, including providing information about what they collect, and offering ways to manage and delete it. Yet Chevy still doesn't have a tool for customers to look at their data. I called 7 other major car makers, and they didn't have one either. Once data about our lives gets shared, sold, or stolen, we lose control. And car makers lag far behind in taking steps to protect us. They'll only earn our trust when they learn to come clean and treat our driving data like it belongs to us.
Those documents go into great detail about how the government was trying to hack phones, trying to hack tablets, even smart TVs. But now when you dig deeper into the document, buried way deep in there, is about how the government was also looking into hacking vehicles. But it turns out hackers have already been doing it. There's a gadget out there right now that allows people to use a little remote control and get into your car undetected, even start your engine. And that's not all. There are a couple of hackers who've even been able to take over a car remotely while it's driving down the highway, and it's all caught on video this morning. The powerful demonstrations you need to see before you head out today. As this SUV drives